Hello and welcome to Workout Wednesday Walkthrough. I am Curtis Harris and this is week 12 of 2019. And this week we're looking at a simple line chart, or so it may seem. This is my challenge, so this should be a fairly easy walkthrough, and I wanted to get this out there along with the post to give those who need a hand the assistance they need. So with that, let's get started, and I'll walk you through how to build this line chart. I probably won't get to the formatting or all of that, but wanted to get the base idea going. So as we scroll down here, we can see just a simple line chart. We're looking at a 12-week retention period, and for context around what I mean by that, it's the concept of for customers in a given week, starting week, how many of those same customers did we retain in the following weeks? So you can see as this parameter toggles in the animation here, week 0 is always 100%. That's all the customers we're looking for. And for all of those customers, we're going to track them week to week to week and see where we end on week 12, our 12-week retention. This is something I did just recently at my day job, so I thought this would be a good challenge to provide for the Tableau community. So there's not many requirements. The real challenge here is just getting the data right. So we can use my public version to validate our numbers and see where we get. So let's get started. First things first, we need to get our order dates down to the week level. So pretty easy. Let's hop over to Tableau, hide this here, and start that out. So what we want to do is just create the week of the order date. So first things first, I'm going to say, let's just build a calculation called order week. So I'm going to wrap it around a date, so it's not a date time. I'll just save some formatting. Then I'm going to truncate our date to the week level. You can change the start date of the week for this challenge, though we're just going to leave it as default. So we'll hit OK. We have our order week. That's great. Let's drag this out here. And I'm going to go ahead and sort these descending because that's where our animation is, and it's just a little easier to track. What I don't want is the weeks that don't have these extended periods to look at. So let's go ahead and just throw out a few weeks here. I'm going to exclude these manually. Pretty simple to do. So now at this point, if I use any of these weeks as my base, I can guarantee there'll be a 12-week retention period to look at. So that is easy enough. We'll start from there. What I also want to do is create a parameter from our order week field. So I can go to create on the field and do a parameter, and that's going to load everything up for me. What I don't want is this in ascending order, so I'm going to go ahead and change the default sort on the field to be descending, and then the parameter will populate in that same order. So I'll change my sort there, run through the same process, and we should have a nicely sorted list of parameter fields. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these recent periods out of the parameter. So we have our order week parameter. It's a list. It's one value at a time. That's exactly what we want. So we're going to hit OK. We're going to show that. And let's just turn it on the slider. Okay, cool. So we have our order weeks. We have our order week parameter. And we just need to start focusing on those customers who are there. So if we took customer name out, we have all of our 9/30/2018 customers. If we go over to the public viz, we go 9/30/2018. That's cut off. Sorry about that. We have 39 customers. If I click on 9/30/2018, we can see our summary down here in the bottom left. We have 39 marks. So we're looking at the same data the public viz is looking at. So let's go ahead and create a calculation. At this point, we're just going to try to narrow down our cohort. So these are our people. These 39 unique customer names. Those are who we care about to track in the following weeks. So let's create a calculation and map this out. So we'll say order week is cohort week. So we're just going to match the parameter to start. And we'll build on this field as we go along. So we have true and false. And that's not a big deal, right? So it's going to only match here. What we can do is actually just override this and apply it to the rest of the weeks by using a level of detail calculation, which will take place at an earlier time. So we can say customer is a week 0 customer. I'm going to go ahead and say by customer, find me the max order week is cohort week. And the max of a Boolean, we just have a true false, that's our order week, is cohort week field. The max will find those trues for us. So if I hit OK, and let's also drag, let's do this instead. So there, these are all true. And for those customers that have a matching record, we'll see true. So we have Muhammad here. If I keep him, I will see true because he has an order in the order week that is our cohort start week. And we're going to repeat that for every row that matches his customer name. And that's how we're going to track that retention period. So we have what we need here. Let's go ahead and close this out. And what we want to do now, we know how to track our customers. Now we want to be able to get those 12 weeks into our view. Those are the only ones we want. We don't want the rest of the data. We just want this 12-week window or 13. Kind of just matters how you define it. So we'll do another calculation. We'll just say that it's in the 12-week window. So if we said order week is greater than or equal to the order week parameter, and order week is less than or equal to 12 weeks later. So we're going to add, let's start with 12, the order week parameter. So it's going to catch all those weeks in between and nothing else. It's just another Boolean. So we're going to say true. And now we should have 13 marks, which is exactly what I wanted. Week 0 and then the 12 weeks following. And as we change our parameter, we'll get the corresponding 13 marks. That's exactly how we want things. Okay, and the difference here between what we're seeing on the screen and what's in the viz is week numbers. We want this to be normalized. We don't care about the dates necessarily. We just want to say weeks since. So we need to figure that out. So we're going to go ahead and do some subtraction. Week since order week parameter. We're going to add weeks. So here, wait, not add, if. Oh, don't you freeze on me. Oh boy. Let's see if autosave saved us because I did not save that work. Haha, lovely. In 12-week window, so we're still there. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and save. All right, where were we? All right, converting the weeks to week numbers instead of weeks, instead of dates. So weeks since parameter. I always get these backwards, so bear with me. Let's go ahead and move this up. I don't want to have it be a measure. Okay, backwards. So we're taking the difference in weeks from the parameter, which is our anchor date, to the week that's in display. We have week 0 through week 12, exactly how we want. The problem we get here, it's part of the challenge, is to actually show 0 through 12 on your axis, no matter what. So if I go back in time, I'm not always going to get 13 marks. Come on, it's not working out well. I'm certain there are some in here that don't have a full 12-week history. I think they're closer to the front here. Maybe they do. Maybe I did something wrong on my workout, but pretty confident that this is not always going to be, it's because I want to look at our customers. There we go. So those customers that are in your starting week aren't necessarily in all of the weeks that you want to track for your retention period. So instead of showing 0, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 here, I want to show the timeline from 0 to 12, even if there's no data there. So we're going to work on that. I could plot this here, and I could do it continuously like this, which is fine. That should work okay. I could set this to always go out to 12 or 13. That's fine. What I'm going to do, just to make sure, I created bins in mine. I don't think you need to do this, but I did 1 week bins off of my week since parameter, and I put that on my axis instead. There we go. Now it gives me those bins even if those customers aren't there. The only thing it doesn't do is go out to 12 if it doesn't exist. But it'll fill in those gaps for me. Okay, so we have our customer cohort. Customer is a week 0 customer, that's key. So by customer, grab the max of if their order week matches the order week parameter. So if they have an order placed in the same week as your parameter, we find true or false. Then for that customer, for every customer, we find the max of that true or false. And the max of a true or false is true. So this is how we narrow down our customers. We also go ahead and find the 12-week window. So we say the order week is greater than or equal to the order week parameter, which is our base date, and it's less than 12 weeks after that parameter. We also take the week's difference from the order week to the order week parameter, creating that normalized scale from 0 to 12, which makes things a little easier to interpret. And then you're pretty much done. So we have customer as a week 0 customer, true, and it's in the 12-week window, true. You need these 2 filters for this visualization to work. I can take this off, I can take this off, and really all we're doing now is doing a little table calc. So I can take customer name out, do count distinct. We have 27 here. If I scale this all the way to the left, we should get 39, which will match our public visualization, 39 out of 39. The leftmost bar, line, whatever you choose, is always going to be the full scope. So I just need to change this to a percentage. And what we want to do is do percent of, let's do add instead of quick. Percent from first. And that's pretty easy for us. And if we show our labels here, we're going to get 100%, 6.4, 8.5, 2.1. We can go and validate that with our Tableau public viz. So 7.7, 2.6, 5.1, 7.7, 2.6, 5.1. So there's our visualization in a nutshell. You could say in a business setting that our 12-week retention for the cohort of people who placed orders 9/30/2018 is 5%. 5% of those same customers returned to place an order 12 weeks later. And this is actually a really useful metric for most business types, and what's good or what's bad varies depending on what industry you're in. So 5% may well be pretty good in an e-commerce setting, whereas in a SaaS setting, you might want something like 30, 25, something higher even. So here's our 12-week retention. All I did to finish this out was convert to a line and then layer on top a circle for those missing weeks. If I go here, I'll see 0. This actually makes more sense than how I have it. So mine is a continuous bin, which creates this just kind of pass-through effect. So if I go back here, our 1-week retention on a discrete bin is 0%. If I change it to continuous, it's just going to kind of go over that 1 week. And you might assume that the 1-week retention is somewhere around 50% if you interpreted it incorrectly. So what I did to kind of battle that, I picked the continuous axis for one reason or another, can't really remember, was actually just overlay circles right on top. So if I do a dual axis with circles, I can create those marks and avoid any confusion. Now, my users will know that we're only looking at those periods where there's actually a mark. And you could assume 0 for those that it crosses over or passes over, right? So we go from 4 to 6 here. We skip 5, it's not, 6% retention, it's 0. And now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm saying it out loud, what really makes more sense is the discrete axis and just showing it like this, where the line actually just drops to 0 for those missing weeks. Either way, the point is still the same. So that's how you get there. I'm not going to finish out the solution. The calculations to get the values in the title should be a little bit of a challenge, using table calculations on top of other table calculations, which is always interesting and fun. And the tooltips should provide some extra context to the users and create a little bit more of a challenge. But I wanted to get the basis of the concept down and how to build the line. So have fun figuring out the tooltips, organizing those, and figuring out the title. And maybe when you publish yours, you'll not have a truncated parameter string here. So good luck. I'm glad to be back recording these videos. It's been a while. Sorry for the relatively long absence. Life has just been a little bit busy lately, so haven't been able to get to these videos as much as I'd like to. But hopefully this one helps, and I look forward to seeing your submissions on the Twitter machine, and have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.